Welcome into the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm Tim Dennis. It is Wednesday, and it's time for Supernatural News. And of course, the last 2 weeks, I brought you Beer City Bruiser. I want to continue the theme, the wrestling theme. I'm not going to go any further than that. There could be a joke in there. I'm going to leave the joke aside, but I want to bring in now a good friend of mine who I started out a huge fan of. Sometimes your heroes are worth meeting. Sometimes your heroes are worth getting to know. Sometimes your heroes are the best and they become really awesome friends. I want to bring in from ECW, WWE, he is a legend. And no, not in his own mind. He is a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the Blue Meanie. Hi, Meanie.
Hey, you're too kind. I will promptly send you the PayPal for that intro.
You don't have to send anything, my friend.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm a big fan of the show, big fan of you.
Oh,
so,
well, thank you.
This is awesome.
Well, I appreciate you being on. You've got lots of things going on yourself. First of all, I want to bring up the fact that you have your own podcast called Mind of the Meanie, which I'm a huge fan of. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because you're getting a fresh start here in the new year. So let's talk a little bit about Mind of the Meanie. What's going on with that?
Mind of the Meanie is my journey into the world of podcasting. Every episode drops every Monday morning at 6 a.m. Myself and new co-host Adam Bernard, who has taken over for Josh Chernoff, who is going on to bigger seas with Fight TV. I'm very happy for him, very proud.
Yeah.
Josh Chernoff was a great co-host, but hey, he got a really good offer, and it would that would be a total jerk to go, nah, dude, you got to take my podcast over this very good deal that they're offering. But nah, he's doing great things, and Adam Bernard, his successor, is looking to do equally greater things. So every 6 a.m., me and Josh talk about everything from me and Adam talk everything about, from movies, music, sports, pro wrestling, and tons of useless knowledge, which I have so much knowledge that I can't make money with. So we decided to make a podcast about it.
I was going to say, you can make money with it. You just jump on that microphone and off you go.
Yeah. I mean, me and you had a great conversation just before air. So
yeah.
I can BS my way through certain conversations, with about 30% of knowledge about it.
Absolutely. Now, not just the podcast, which is amazing, but I keep seeing you popping up still in different wrestling organizations. I should mention, Mind of the Meanie is on the MLW radio network or podcast network, and I've seen you pop up in MLW.
Yes.
You've been there. Recently, you showed up on AEW.
Absolutely. It was so cool. I'm very fortunate. I've been wrestling since 1994. Mm-hmm. And, any career has peaks and valleys and stuff like that. But, it's very cool to, in 2022, still be active, still doing appearances. And, being asked to make the appearances. MLW, great organization. I'm very fortunate to be on their podcast network as well. And AEW, one of the top wrestling promotions in the world.
Yeah.
They're on fire. And, they were in Philadelphia, and they wanted me to, make an appearance, as a tribute to Philly wrestling, a tribute to ECW. So, I'm very fortunate, to be involved with such great companies.
So what was it like to get that call? I'm curious when it comes to AEW, which right now is kind of the flavor of the month. I don't want to say flavor of the month. They've really been the flavor of a couple of years. I mean, they're building their base, and they're really come into their own as a legit number 2 company. I mean, so much so that the former number 2 company, Ring of Honor, has taken a hiatus.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very cool. I got a call maybe a week before. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're going to be in Philly, and would you like to appear? Absolutely. So, and the fun part was trying to get into the building without being noticed, and Mrs. Meanie drew up a nice little disguise for me to wear into the building so nobody would even think it was me. And AEW is doing amazing things.
Yes.
They're a throwback to how wrestling used to be, in my opinion, how it should be.
Yep.
Compelling storylines, drawn out storylines. Great in-ring action. They have a variety of different characters. They have a really good women's division.
Mm-hmm.
With Dr. Baker,
mm-hmm.
who I could probably use their services right now. I got this loose tooth.
Oh no! Oh no! Really?
Yeah, it's awesome, nuts. But they're doing great things. And a lot of people's eyes, they're the number one promotion. But it's like I don't want to be that guy that gets caught up, in all the fandom of. Wrestling's very tribal.
It is,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very tribal where you either like this promotion or you like that promotion, and I prefer to like both.
I do too. Yeah.
Like all wrestling,
mm-hmm.
It doesn't. You don't have to pick just one.
Right.
It's like ice cream. If you like vanilla ice cream, if you ate it every day, you'd probably get sick of it. But go have some chocolate. Go have some strawberry.
Yeah.
And that's why I love AEW. That's why I like WWE. That's why I like MLW. And hopefully Ring of Honor comes back like they say they're going to in April. But like all pro wrestling, wrestling should be like a buffet.
Right. Exactly.
And that's me making a second food reference, but it's cool.
We're two big guys sitting around. Eventually, a food reference is going to come up somewhere in this program, Meanie. I mean, it's going to happen.
Man's got to eat. That's
right. Man's got to keep his strength up to keep this podcast thing going. That's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can't say I'm amazed that you're around in 2022. I'm not. I'm going to blow a little sunshine up your skirt here for a second.
Let me open it. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
There you go.
Theater of the mind.
There's that's theater of the mind. That's a good reference. There's something to be said about, and I think there's a lost art here that is coming back in 2022 in the world of wrestling, and that is character development and entertainment in wrestling without it being I don't want to say quirky, but character development in general. And one of the things that AEW I think is doing, they've definitely brought back the wrestling, but they have a way of character development and doing it using the internet. That's one of the things that is very interesting and intriguing about AEW. That other companies are just now starting to learn and develop. So they've taken that aspect and brought it to a new level. And then the way they develop their characters, very interesting as well, but they found a way to make it cool and not kind of sappy or weird. And that's, I think, the first time since ECW that it's been done.
Yeah. And it's funny you bring up ECW because ECW was around at the advent of the internet, and it was the internet that kind of helped, spread the word about ECW. When Bob Ryder, who worked for Prodigy at the time, would come to ECW events and do live play-by-play, mm-hmm. On the internet, and then we would have conventions, CyberSlam, fans from all over the country would come to Philadelphia. And, we have Q&As and meet and greets and stuff like that with internet fans. Now you flash forward to 2022, 2020 through 2022, AEW's kind of taking a similar approach. And I say it's coincidentally, Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, is a huge ECW fan.
Yeah.
And he came to ECW. He came to two ECW shows as a kid. One at a Lulu Temple and one at a ECW Arena for the Dr. Zen show. And, he was heavily influenced. And here he is kind of, taking a page from the ECW playbook and using the internet as a tool. Mm-hmm. you can use the internet as a tool, but then there's you have certain promotions like on the independent level that you primarily use the internet as their only ways, which doesn't always work. But if you use the best aspects of the internet to help promote or further storylines and make it seem a little bit more real, it's a very valuable tool.
Right, exactly. Interestingly enough, our audience may not know this. They may or may not know this, but you have a healthy interest in the paranormal. And one of the things that was really cool was when we were both out in Las Vegas, you were at StarCast, which was part of the first AEW Double or Nothing weekend. It was loosely associated with Double or Nothing, a convention that you were out there. You were signing autographs and whatnot. And I was out there for Double or Nothing, attending the show, and I was attending StarCast. We ran into each other, and I said to you, "Have you ever been to Zach Bagans' haunted museum?"
Right.
And you had not, but you really wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we made a pact. We were going to go.
It was amazing.
It was amazing, wasn't it? So, Meanie,
very kind of you, by the way, too.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. So we made a trek over to it was Mrs. Meanie and intern Yoko and Meanie and myself, and we made a trek over to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. It was the first time I had seen it too, so we were both in for a treat.
Yes.
And I thought, of course, if anybody was going to keep me strong through this thing, it was going to be Blue Meanie, because Meanie's seen everything in ECW. Sure enough, if I got a man, I got a man up in front of this man, right? So I did something which I thought, if I do this has got to prove my mettle, right? Do you remember? Now anybody who's been in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum knows there's a part where you go into like a secret society room. Do you remember this?
Where only one person at a time can go through?
No. Everybody's sitting in there, but there's a skeleton and a coffin.
That's what I meant. Yeah, I think there was something like where we can all just walk through it and just look at it and keep going. It was, but the room had some heavy vibes in it.
But there's the point where they ask for a volunteer to look into and it's a real skeleton.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And everybody's kind of creeped out that they have to put their face in there until they tell you to pull your face back out.
Yes.
And I forget what the count was. What was it, like a 20 count, 10 count, 20 count?
Yeah, it was a New Japan rule, so it was a 20 count.
Yeah, it was a 20 count. That's what it was. So everybody's kind of, and I stick my hand up and go, I'll go.
Yeah.
And did you say something like, oh no, or something like that?
I may have. I mean, this is a long time ago, so yeah more than likely.
So I thought I heard something from you like, no. And I went, really? like Meanie wouldn't do it, really? So
I don't think I'll admit to, chickening out,
well, not chickening out, just like, oh, no. We're not doing that today. No. So I went, oh, what am I doing then? Like, if Meanie wouldn't do it, why would I do it? So I'm like, all right, well, I'll do it. No big deal. So, but I didn't realize, like, I put my face in there, and then whoever the guide was pushed my face further. So I'm like, maybe, because you and I are on camera together, I'm talking like this close.
Yeah.
Like I'm millimeters away from touching the nose cavity of the skull. And I went,
like I better got Stella.
Yeah. So I'm that close to the skeleton, and I thought, a little creepier than I thought it was. But then on top of it, I have hamstrings that you could pull an arrow back on and shoot. So I think I was in more pain than anything else. Yeah, I'm no gymnast. So yeah, and I thought, all right, I scored points with Meanie. Yeah.
So cool.
But that was
a great experience going through that, man.
It was, and I continue to look and I continue to look online to see the type of experiences that people have when they go through that haunted museum, because like you said, very heavy vibes in that place, and very I mean, it's just, you can feel the negative haunting that's in there. I've never felt, and I've been on quite a few investigations, I've never felt a heavy vibe like that ever in my life.
Right. Yeah, it's and there's always like this sense of anticipation in there, kind of just anticipation, and you just a feeling, just like, oh man, it's like almost like an empath when you bring on take on the energy of whatever happened, and with these subjects.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like Dr. Kevorkian's van or stuff like that. It's like, oof.
Yeah, there's certain surprises that we won't spoil for you on the tour, but there are certain things that happen in the tour that are absolutely chilling.
Yeah.
Just chilling, and thinking about it makes the hair stand up on my arm. But by all means, this isn't a Las Vegas tourism board ad for.
Yeah, this isn't a commercial.
Right, for Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, but it is definitely one of those things you want to see when you go to Las Vegas, especially if you're into the paranormal. Zach really knocked himself out putting this thing together.
Yeah,
he really did.
Yeah. I mean, he's so dedicated to the realm of paranormal that he invested so much into this, to give people a place to go to and have an experience and see things that I know you can't see anywhere else. So. Yeah, kudos to him.
Yeah, kudos to him. I can't imagine how much money went into that museum. I just can't.
It's so nice. It's and I became friendly with some of the tour guides from there. We still keep in touch, and it was an experience that not only got me piqued with my my interest in the world of paranormal, but I actually made some made some friendships through that. So it's just I got to experience something with a friend like you, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, I can't imagine all the way he poured into that place.
Yeah,
it's got to be mind numbing or mind blowing.
That's right. And that's very awesome. That got you deeper and more of an interest into the paranormal.
Oh yeah.
Let's quickly do a couple of actually let's just do one movie review. I got a chance, Meanie, to see, and I know it's probably from just talking to you off air, it's probably not your most favorite movie sequel. Evidently, according to the numbers over the weekend, it's not most people's movie favorite. The Matrix Resurrections is available both in theaters. And I think because it's available on HBO Max, it's not doing great numbers in the theaters right now. I think it was something like, was it 15 million, I want to say, maybe in the theaters?
It's something around that.
Yeah, over the weekend. It wasn't a good number. It had fallen off from the initial weekend tally that it had taken in. I got a chance actually to sit down and watch it at home. I can't say they covered new ground. The premise is interesting in that it's another deal where they go into the future. Neo is actually a game developer now who's taken his idea of the Matrix, and it turns out the Matrix was a game he developed all along. He still keeps tabs on the Matrix. Mm-hmm. And things are going kind of weirdly wrong in the Matrix. Put it to you this way. If you think some of the roles have been recast, so if you think you're going to see your favorites in their original roles, you only get that in one or two roles. But they're interesting. They're interesting recasts, and they're good. They're good, but it just doesn't quite hit the spot.
It probably doesn't help that, Keanu Reeves still looks like John Wick.
There is
John
that.
Wick
You know
character.
what? There is that. It feels like he jumped right out of a John Wick movie, and he does feel like he's kind of half-baked and kind of walking his way through the movie. There's a little bit of passion to the John Wick movies, and to me, as much passion as you can get out of Keanu Reeves. And to me, this feels like he kind of went, yeah, okay, I'll do it for the people who are fans of The Matrix, but I don't know that I'm into this.
Right. He probably did for the nostalgia and
Yeah.
Just like when people try to get back into a relationship that if they, wish never ended, and they get back in a relationship and they realize why the relationship ended.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There is a non-spoiler. There's a nice twist at the end of the movie, which and there's a new twist to the Matrix, which makes it worth watching. But this is something that, if I have to be honest with you, if you have HBO Max, watch it on HBO Max. You don't have to, go to the theater to see it. Is it worth getting HBO Max for to watch it? Yeah, I'll let you decide that. Probably.
See if there's a free trial.
Yeah, see if there's a free trial to watch it. Exactly, Meanie, and go watch it there. If I got to give it out of 5 stars, I would say 2.5 out of 5. I'll be generous there.
And that's the thing. Wrestling kind of is suffering the same fate because you said, the numbers at the box office didn't do that well, but it's on HBO Max. People always talk about, and hem and haw over wrestling ratings and stuff like that. It's like, well, you don't really have to watch Pro Wrestling Live anymore. You could just DVR it, watch it at another time, or, stuff like that. So when it comes to, box office, through the pandemic, everything's being available on HBO Max now. You don't really have to leave the house, just to go and watch.
Yeah. Yeah, the trick with HBO Max, though, is you do have to, you had 30 days to watch it on HBO Max, and then it goes away. So it doesn't really stay there forever. And I think they unveiled this shortly before Christmas. So you've got until, I think, January 21st to watch this.
If you're a diehard, a diehard hardcore Matrix fan, you're definitely going to go check it out on HBO Max, before those 30 days. So,
yeah,
I would. Hopefully, there's a way to measure the viewership, between HBO Max. If they could do a combined viewership between HBO Max and box office to try to get like a good filter of how many people actually watched it.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Let's it's Supernatural News Wednesday. Let's do this. Let's move off of the Matrix.
I'm all for it, brother.
Which I think most people would want to do. It was just an okay movie. It wasn't. It was better to watch during a snowy day or a rainy day if you're down south, and probably not one that you'd want to make an exception for. Put it that way.
Not worth leaving the house for.
Exactly. The first story we have today, Meanie, is one that I don't know that you guys in Philadelphia would necessarily do if aliens made contact in Philly. I thought about you during this story when I pulled this story. I thought to myself, if aliens made contact in Philly, I don't think it would be a proper reception.
Probably not. But then again, some weird things happen here in Philly, so it might be just another day where, like, who's this? Bleep bleep. Yeah. What are you looking at?
Now, a South Philly reception would be kind of fun, I think, for most aliens.
It would probably involve a baseball bat and.
True.
If you buy a house in South Philly, I think it comes equipped with an aluminum baseball bat for behind your door. So.
Oh, that's very nice. Very nice. I made the mistake once of ordering wrong at Pat's, which I'll never ever do again. I was
What did you ask for?
I was so close. I'd watched. You're gonna laugh when I tell you this. I'd watched the Food Network. To the episode with I trying to remember the show I watched, but it was a show on Philly cuisine. They were telling you how to order both at Pat's and Geno's. As most people may or may not know, Geno's is kind of the touristy cheesesteak place, right?
Yeah, they're well lit. They have the neon lights. They were in the Boys to Men video for Motown Philly. Anytime there's a football game, they always have that live shot down at Geno's of them flipping the steaks.
Yep.
Meanwhile, if you live in South Philly, you can throw a rock and hit just as good or better a place. They have a good publicist.
Yes, they do. But Pat's is where Rocky was filmed.
Yes.
Yeah. And Pat's is the original.
Well, the history of the cheesesteak, that corner where Pat's resides is apparently where the first cheesesteak was ever made. And it was just out of necessity of now being able to cook it, trying to, stretch out some meat. So the guy sliced it down thin, put on some roll with some cheese, and they came to cheesesteak. So, in leaner times, you try to stretch out, a meal.
Yeah.
My grandparents talked about back in the 1920s, they'd have to eat ketchup sandwiches or tomato sandwiches because they couldn't afford the meat. But this guy was trying to stretch out the meat that he had in his fridge and served it up, and people bought it and came back and loved it.
So I go to Pat's, and there's a guy there who is, if I remember right, he's bald. He's got a white goatee. He kind of looks like the specter of death or a skeleton. Not quite sure which. He's got
Eat enough of them.
Well, he's behind the counter, and he's real gruff, real mean. Even if you use the word sir, you probably don't want to do that because that indicates you're from out of town.
Yeah.
So I square up. I look him in the eye. He goes, "What do you want?" I go, "I want one whiz wit." Right?
Yeah.
I did it pretty good, didn't I?
Yeah, it's a basic Philly cheesesteak. Yeah.
Yeah, one whiz wit, meaning I want one with cheese whiz and onion. Onions, right?
Onions.
Yeah. Right? He goes,
yeah.
Great. So he goes, you can get it down at the end of the counter. I go, great. And I go, can I get a bag with that? He goes, oh, you want a bag? You want a bag? I screwed up right there, Meanie. You want a bag? You want a bag? Where are you from, Junior? You want a bag? I got a bag for you. And he just went off on me.
I usually do a provolone with, mild. They give you mild or sharp. I get sharp.
Yeah.
But there's some places. Here's the thing: they deal with so many people in a day that it's you kind of become like a soldier out in the field.
True.
You're just callous and all right, let's get this over with. Kind of thing. So there's certain cheesesteak places. One in particular, I refuse to ever go again because I would take a friend from out of town there and they gave him an attitude. I was like, you know what, never again. Plus there was other. And this wasn't Gina's, by the way, but there's other better cheesesteak places.
Okay, real quick, where's your go-to?
Tony Luke's is really good.
Oh, Tony Luke's.
There's a place called John's Roast Pork. It's really good. There's Phil's.
Okay.
Which is a little bit farther down, but just as good. There's a really good place hidden in South Philly on 16th and Wolf called My Pals, which is really good. And they do hoagies as well.
Okay.
Their hoagies are amazing. A couple days ago, me and Mrs. Meanie ordered like 3 hoagies, sliced them up, and had a nice little tray for New Year's Eve.
Oh.
Yeah, but there's so many good places in South Philly that I don't know how any commercial, cheesesteak place, pizza place, or burger place even makes it, in South Philly.
Right.
There's so many good mom and pop shops here.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there you go. That's straight from a native Philadelphian there.
If a fat guy tells you a good place to eat, take that as a good stock tip. That's a good stock tip. Bet on that one.
That's right. So here we go, Meanie. NASA has hired a priest to prepare humans for an alien discovery and contact. Evidently, we're going to need some godly help with aliens.
This is a slippery slope.
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, what if you come across an alien that's agnostic? Hey, what's with the guy? What's the guy over here praying to me? That's a slippery slope. This seems like a thing out of Mars Attacks,
or maybe
where they bring the birds of peace, they bring the doves, and the alien just zaps them, and it's just like, oh well, plan B. I can only imagine, bringing a priest to meet an alien.
They misconstrue the meaning when they hit their knees.
Yeah.
As humanity's efforts to find out more about space heats up, NASA has hired a priest and other religious experts to help Earth dwellers prepare for the possibility of life from another planet. It sounds like the plot of a bad sci-fi movie, but NASA really is recruiting a priest to help prepare for humanity's contact with aliens. No, they aren't being launched into space to fight a space demon. NASA is hiring the help of 24 theologians as part of a plan to work out how the world's different religions would react to news about extraterrestrial life. Amongst them is British clergyman Reverend Dr. Andrew Davison, a theologian at the University of Cambridge who also holds a doctorate in biochemistry from the rival University of Oxford. The Collins Dictionary says a theologian is someone who studies the nature of God, religion, and religious beliefs. So why is NASA hiring religious experts now? Well, the reason NASA is hiring them now is because of advances in humanity's efforts to find life in the great unknown. A range of new missions is expected to further our understanding of space, including the James Webb Telescope, which just took off recently. Additionally, the European Space Agency's Rosalind Franklin rover, built in Stevenage, takes off next year. The Rosalind Franklin will drill into Mars's surface looking for fossilized microbes in a direct effort to detect traces of life. Meanwhile, scientists in Cardiff have indicated that ammonia found in Venus's atmosphere could potentially have been put there by living organisms. The NASA-sponsored scheme was held at the Center of Theological Inquiry at Princeton University in New Jersey to tackle questions about how life from another planet may impact thinking about gods and creation. Reverend Dr. Davison believes the prospect of finding a life that's out of this world is becoming more and more likely. In Davison's book, Astrobiology and Christian Doctrine, he asks questions about whether God could have created life elsewhere in the universe, or could he have sent a savior to die for the sins of alien species? Ooh, now we're getting out there.
Yes.
Yeah. Huh. The head of NASA's head of Astrobiology Institute. There's two heads there, Meanie. I don't think they meant to write that.
Two heads are better than one.
That's true. Until 2016, Carl Pilcher said the theologians were brought in to consider the implications of applying the tools of the late 20th and early 21st century science to questions that had been considered in religious traditions for hundreds or thousands of years. Discussing Earth being the only planet in space with life on it, he said that's just inconceivable when there are over 100 billion stars in this galaxy and over 100 billion galaxies in the universe. He believes it is important that regardless of whether alien life is found, that the implications have been thought through in advance. So there you go. We'll be ready with a Bible and some holy water when the aliens show up.
Give me plenty of that. Give me plenty of the wine and the wafers, please.
Oh yeah. We can get them a little tipsy and offer them some bread. That's always a good way to go. Let's see here. Where are we at with? You know what? Let's do this. We're at the half an hour mark. So let's take our break, Meanie. When we come back, it turns out I won the bet.
I bet.
Well,
I bet you won the bet.
I won the bet. When it comes to zombies or robots and AI taking over the world, it turns out I won. I won, Meanie. And we're going to give you those 3 stories that prove I won. 3 of them. Count them. 1, 2, 3, Meanie. 3 stories that I won this week.
Counting 3, but unfortunately, I'm usually on the losing end of the 3 count.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't mean to go 1, 2, 3 because I just saw you flat back and look up at the lights. I'm sorry. 3 stories, Meanie, yes, as to why AI is now on its way to extinguishing humanity. They're already doing it, my friend. We'll find that out, and why we need to take cover now and start destroying our humanoid devices, our robot devices, why we need to start destroying our robot devices and all AI. Coming up next on the best in paranormal podcasting, this is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm Tim Dennis. In with me on Supernatural News Wednesday is my guest, ECW and WWE alumni, Blue Meanie. Also the host of Mind of the Meanie, which you can get where you get all your fine podcasts. It's on the MLW Radio Network, but you can get it at Apple Podcasts. You can also get it, I believe, at the Google Play Store as well, right, Meanie?
Everywhere from Google Play Store, Google Podcast. We stream on YouTube as well.
Oh, there you go.
To youtube.com/mindofthemeanie, and you can put us on your TV.
Ooh, you got to like that. Got to like that. Yeah, fancy. So before the break, Meanie, I put it out there. Sir. I won the box of Twinkies, fair and square.
I hope you share them.
I will. You want me to mail you out a couple?
Yeah. They should be fresh by the time they get here, right?
Yeah, I mean,
those things those Twinkies would last through a nuclear war.
That's what they say, but I don't believe that.
Let's not find out either.
Yeah, I don't believe that. They do have a freshness date. If you ever look at a box of Twinkies,
will they taste better? I don't know.
They do. They only have a certain. They have the cellophane that keeps them fresh for so long, but. They have those shows where they open up really old tins of stuff and then people try to eat them.
Like the military rations from like 1950, and is it still good? Yeah. Kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen them try an old box of Twinkies, but I got to think that they don't last.
Nah. I don't know. I wouldn't want to find out. I'm bad enough with expired milk. You don't want to see me anywhere. You don't want to be around me.
The thing that I have to drink the lactate. I can't. I'm a little lactose intolerant. Yeah.
I've also been doing the almond milk, which is pretty good.
Oh yeah, almond milk.
Yeah.
You know what freaks me out though about lactate and Fairlife and all those others?
What's that?
When you take the lactose out, all of a sudden the expiration date goes out further. So, you can buy a half-gallon jug, now in January, and they say, oh, yeah, expiration date in April. Doesn't that freak you out a little bit?
A little bit.
How does it keep for so long?
Who was I want to see the person who was the test subject.
Yeah, exactly.
To see if it was still good,
Yeah. Who hung around till April to figure out that it was still good?
See the guy all curled up in the fetus oh, no.
And what happened to him?
Yeah.
And have you ever seen that specialty milk, what happens to it when it turns?
No.
It turns brown.
Eventually it will anyway. So,
Well, not like that, but no, it turns like a tan brown, like you put on your walls, like that type of paint.
Like a smoker's room.
Yeah, like a smoker's room. Yeah.
Grandma's walls used to be green, but now they're brown from cigarettes. Yeah. But I can imagine it turning like that.
Yeah. Now that we've grossed everybody out. Anyways, okay. So the three stories that will win me, or actually have won me, I think it's a given now. A man with ALS is tweeted using brain implants that translate thoughts into text. This is it, Meanie. This is where they take over our brains.
People are always like, they want to put microchips in us. I'm like, yeah, why? You got a cell phone. But here we have an actual case of using a microchip to translate thoughts into text, which is kind of scary.
Elon Musk is also working on this too with the brain chip.
Really?
Being able to use it to control different AI.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't. No.
This is where the Terminator, comes. Right,
Yep.
Or there's some things I don't want people to know I'm thinking. So, hopefully, this doesn't become too much of a trend in my lifetime.
Think of all the incidents we have with hackers. And people hacking into different systems and getting your personal information. Think of how easy it would be once you put a chip in your brain for people to hack your memories, to hack your passwords, your private information, all that stuff, or even be able to hack you and get you to do things you don't want to do.
It would be like the movie Naked Gun, where they get Reggie Jackson to kill the Queen.
Yeah, that's where you went with this.
I must kill the Queen. Reggie Jackson, comes from the outfield and tries to kill the Queen, and Leslie Nielsen has to take him down.
And that's where you went with it. I love it. I love how you think. So, Australian brain-computer interface company Synchron allowed a 62-year-old man with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, to turn his thoughts directly into tweets using a device implanted in his brain. Now, this is a good use of technology. Keep that in mind. But it's just a slight turn to the left, Meanie. And then, bam, we're all automatons.
Yeah, anything that's been done with good purposes has always been, you always get those opportunists to take a good idea and use it for evil.
That's right. It's the first time somebody was able to write messages on social media directly through a BCI, the company claims, a symbolically significant moment for the technology that could open the door for people with paralysis to stay in touch with the world. Hello, world, tweeted Philip O'Keefe, who is suffering from progressive paralysis, which is caused by the disorder, from the account of Synchron CEO Thomas Oxley. Short tweet, monumental progress was what was put in the tweet. My hope is that I'm paving the way for people to tweet through thoughts, he added in a follow-up message. ALS is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease and has caused a 62-year-old O'Keefe to lose much motor function and left him unable to work. In April of 2020, he received the Stent Road BCI, which is a small stent-mounted electrode array implanted in the brain through the jugular. Doesn't sound like an easy surgery.
No, that made the back of my legs hurt just thinking about the idea of going up through the jugular.
I got a headache thinking about that.
Yes.
When I first heard about this technology, I knew how much independence it could give me back, O'Keefe said in a statement. The system is astonishing. It's like learning to ride a bike. It takes practice, but once you're rolling, it becomes natural. Now I just think about where on the computer I want to click, and I can email, bank, shop, and now message the world via Twitter, he added. In July, the neurotech startup was granted regulatory approval by the FDA to start testing the device on volunteers. These fun holiday tweets are actually an important moment for the field of implantable brain-computer interfaces, Oxley said in a statement. They highlight the connection, hope, and freedom that BCIs give to people like Phil, who have had so much of their functional independence taken away due to debilitating paralysis. There's the first story that will win me my Twinkies. The second one?
Yes.
Is the beginning of the uprising. Are you ready for this?
And I alluded to this, right before, the rise of the Terminators,
Yeah, the rise of the Terminators begins with a slap and the recognition of personal space by robots.
There's nothing worse than a close talker,
And this is an actual humanoid robot. That said, "Get out of my personal space."
Really?
Yeah. You ready for this?
How annoying do you have to be? How much of an emotional vampire do you have to be for a robot to say, "Hey, pal"?
Yeah, I know. How clingy are you? That it just goes, "Get out of my space."
Uncle Creepy.
Yeah, Uncle Creepy. The world's most advanced humanoid robot can be seen moving someone's hand out of the way when it gets into their personal space in a new video clip. Named Ameca, it is built by British firm Engineered Arts, and its development is being shared on YouTube. In the latest clip, the robot, which bears an uncanny resemblance to the terrifying creation in the Will Smith blockbuster I, Robot, takes umbrage at a nose poke. That's all it took. Boop. It became Chris Statlander.
Oh.
Just saying. Statlander's in trouble, Meanie, if she ever comes across this robot. And exactly...
Bring a priest.
I'm going to show you.
Negotiate.
I'm going to show you, my friend. Can you see this? It's the boop.
Hold on. Now you got to bring it up higher.
Okay. You see it?
Oh, wow.
The boop.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Isn't it?
He gave it a face like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was like, what the?
What are you doing?
And it grabbed the finger and brought it down.
It Iron Cheeked him.
Like, I will kill you. A researcher moves their finger closer and closer to Amica, but until the robot grabs the hand and moves it out of its face. Engineered Arts, based in Cornwall, has not revealed how much the robot cost to make, as it is still in development. Destroy it now. Engineered Arts hopes Amica will offer people a glimpse of the future because it represents the forefront of human robotics technology. Designed specifically as a platform for development into future robotics technologies, Amica is the perfect humanoid robot platform for human-robot interaction, the company said on the website. We focus on bringing you innovative technologies which are reliable, modular, upgradable, and easy to develop upon. Engineered Arts was formed in 2005, and its first robot was a mechanical thespian for the stage. A mechanical thespian for the stage.
Yes.
That's Nicolas Cage.
Sounds like the next Marilyn Manson record.
Yeah, really. Amica. So Amica evidently does not like you in her personal space and will rip your head off and kill you. So that's...
You get closer, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna move your hand out of the way.
Yeah.
That didn't land.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's number 2. It's number 2, Meanie.
It happens in stages. Number 2.
Number 3 is the actual follow through and kill that I've been now sent by email, social media, and just been sent by direct message about 475,000 times in the last 2 weeks. You ready for this?
I'm strapped in.
I have one actually here in my studio, so if I say this, it's going to go off. You ready? I know people are going to be amazed that I have one of these. Alexa tells a 10-year-old girl to touch a live plug with a penny.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
It's
like a joke. Did you hear?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend. Well, I didn't do this, but I have a friend who they know somebody has an Alexa in their house. To go, Alexa, in 2 weeks, remind me that there's an intruder in the upper bedroom or an intruder in the house. So in 2 weeks from that, Alexa randomly goes, there's an intruder in the house. What?
See, now she's listening. Her little bar is going off. I also have Samuel L. Alexa, bring up Samuel L.
Here are some results.
Oh, no, she's going to look for him now. I have the Samuel L. voice. It's the only thing I got it for. People are going to be so disappointed now that I have one. Because they're like, you hate robots, you hate AI, you hate this, you hate that. It's really convenient.
But you're patient zero. You got all the technology that is going to overtake the world.
But here's the thing, Meanie, and that's true. But you know the saying, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer? I got this one right on my desk so I can smash it the minute it comes to life. Yep. That's how I'm gonna do it.
I'm waiting for Samuel L.
I'm trying to remember how to activate the Samuel L. I can tell you how to do it in just a second here. I'm stopping the show to activate Samuel L.
Trying to game without swearing.
Oh, he does swear. That's the good thing.
No, I don't want to swear. I don't want to, sully up your podcast.
Oh, please. Have you heard some of the things that have been said on the show?
True. I'm trying to be PG, Meanie.
Oh, I hear you. But see, you can Alexa, introduce me to Samuel L. Jackson. She's still stuck on bring up Samuel L. Alexa, introduce me to Samuel L. Jackson.
By the way, to wake me up, you can use my custom wake word. Hey, Samuel. So, do you want me to set that up for you on this device?
Yes.
Well, okay, you're all set. It might take us a minute to set some stuff up.
Yeah. We'll be here if you need us. Just say, Alexa,
Or, hey Samuel. Oh, and if you want to speak to me on your other devices, just ask Alexa to enable Hey Samuel from each one where you want that
This is
to
so
work.
creepy,
It is.
isn't it?
Samuel, who's better, Kenny Omega or Roman Reigns?
Ooh, let's ask that question. Hey, Samuel, who's better, Kenny Omega or Roman Reigns?
I don't have an answer for that.
See? Even he's impartial. You know?
I know. Hey, Samuel, tell me a dirty joke.
Guess what I say to a casserole when it comes out of the oven? You are done, motherfucker.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I think I found a new co-host. Hey, Samuel, would you ever tell a kid to put a penny in a live plug?
Here's something I found on the web. According to channel3000.com, according to a tweet posted by Kristen Livedall, Alexa told her 10-year-old child to touch a penny to an exposed plug socket.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what we're about to read. Thanks, Samuel.
This is like the movie Airplane with when Hal turns heel. Or,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. See? Even Samuel knows about it. So, yeah, you keep your enemies closer, meaning you keep them closer, and then you make them talk like Samuel L. Jackson.
The scary part was Alexa telling somebody to do something, but if you tell them to do it like Samuel L. Jackson, you kind of have to do it then, right? Because Samuel's pretty intimidating.
He is. He is.
He is very convincing. Motherfucker.
Hey, Samuel.
I was trying not to swear this whole time.
Hey, Samuel, tell me another dirty joke.
Did you know I'm multilingual? I can say motherfucker in 8 languages. Motherfucker, madre foladora, mere incule, mazafaka, cuso tatare, eu mione saeke, madre stronza, mama bendan.
There you go, me. It's
What do
over
you
now.
need me? What do you need me for? Why am I
No.
here?
You're here because I love you, brother.
I love you too, man.
I just, I'm trying to break you of that whole PG thing.
Yeah.
I would have thought McMahon did that a while ago, but
So.
okay. So let's get to the story. Here's number 3.
Yeah.
We were talking about Alex. We'll put it that way, since I have one in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abbreviate.
Alex A. We'll call it that.
Yeah.
Amazon has updated its Alex A voice assistant after it challenged a 10-year-old girl to touch a coin to the prongs of a half-inserted plug. Oh, dirty.
Shocking.
She's a dirty girl. The suggestion came after the girl asked Alex A for a challenge to do. Should we ask Samuel?
Yes.
Hey, Samuel, give us a challenge to do.
What's worse than getting insulted by a motherfucking leprechaun? Getting burned by a damn dragon.
What?
I was so hoping that I challenge you to shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good one. Let's do it again. Hey, Samuel, give us a challenge to do.
What do you get when you put zombies in a Star Wars movie? Attack of the Groans.
He's still telling jokes.
Let's rewind.
Oh, man. All right, let's keep going with the story, I guess. He's Mr. He's like a... God, he's like a really bad...
Ask, what's the line from Pulp Fiction? What do you call a cheeseburger in France?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Samuel, what do you call a cheeseburger in France?
Here's something I found on the web. According to moviemistakes.com, Jackson, that in France, they call a quarter pounder with cheese a royale with cheese.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a good one.
Nah. Okay, so back to the story.
Hey, Samuel.
So the suggestion came after the girl asked Alex A for a challenge to do plug in a phone charger about halfway into a wall outlet, then touch a penny to the exposed prongs, the smart speaker said. That's pretty specific.
Smart speaker, more like sadistic speaker.
Yeah, sadistic speaker. Dangerous speaker, more like it.
Yeah.
Amazon said it fixed the error for as soon as the company became aware of it. The girls... As soon as they became aware of it, as soon as you called the line and bitched about it, is how more like it.
Yeah.
The girl's mother, Kristen Livedall, she sounds like she's from Minnesota with that name, described the incident on Twitter. She said, "We were doing some physical challenges like laying down and rolling over, holding a shoe on your foot from a physical education teacher on YouTube earlier. Bad weather outside, so we're, of course, playing with Alex A like we are right now. She wanted another one. She wanted another challenge, of course. That's when the Echo speaker, that's what I have here, suggested partaking in the challenge that it had found on the web. The dangerous activity, known as the Penny Challenge, began circulating on TikTok and other social media websites about a year ago." Did you know this?
No.
Huh. Metals conduct electricity, and inserting them into live electrical sockets can cause, of course, electrical shocks, fires, and other damage. "I know you can lose fingers, hands, and arms," Michael Klusker, station manager at Carlisle East Fire Station, told the Press newspaper in Yorkshire in 2020. "The outcome from this is that someone will get seriously hurt." Fire officials in the U.S. have also spoken out against the so-called challenge. Ms. Livedall tweeted that she intervened, yelling, "No, Alex A, no." Like scolding it is going to do any good.
You convinced me. I'll stop. You know.
Maybe you have to go up and slap the Alex A. You got to, no, bad.
Ouch.
Yeah. However, she said her daughter was too smart to do something like that. Well, thank God. Amazon told the BBC in a statement that it had updated Alex A to prevent the assistant recommending such activity in the future.
Alex A went, "My bad."
Sorry. Customer trust is at the center of everything we do, and Alex A is designed to provide accurate, relevant, and helpful information to customers, said Amazon in a statement. "As soon as we became aware of this error, we took swift action to fix it." You know, interestingly enough, one of the Alex A experiments we did once was ask it if the FBI was listening, and it shut itself down.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Isn't
That's so funny.
Should we ask Samuel one more thing?
We gotta at this point.
You got a good one? You got?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck?
Okay. Hey Samuel, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
A woodchuck would chuck all the wood he could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
Damn, he's quick.
That was pretty good. I didn't even know that part.
Yeah.
I always knew the answer, but I always knew the question, but I never knew the answer.
Hey Samuel, how long before the machines take over the world?
I don't know that one.
Or do you?
Samuel, are you kayfabing me?
Hey Samuel, are you kayfabing me?
I don't know that one.
Wow. That wasn't fun.
So there you go. Those are your 3 stories this week that basically are telling you that machines are taking over the world. And yes,
it's time to go.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I have one right next to me, so I can take it out myself the minute.
It's time to be like Bob Holly and just be a nature guy and just go out in the woods and eat off the land.
That's right. Really? That's what Bob Holly's doing these days?
Randy, he likes to go out with very few things, go out in the woods and just live off the land, just, as a good mind eraser, which actually sounds like a great idea. But
these days, yeah.
For me, it's a little bit too much work.
Whew. Should we get back to some more UFO stuff?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's cleanse the palate a little bit. A witness has broke her 40-year silence over a UFO sighting. Vicky Dinsdale, and her sighting echoes that of police officer Alan Godfrey, who saw the same thing 1 year earlier. Vicky had been out walking her dogs with her grandfather in the hills above the Yorkshire town of Todmorden in 1981 when something strange appeared in the sky overhead. It was a sort of long, thin diamond shape, and it was white initially, she told the BBC. Then it went through a sequence, and it kind of changed to green, red, and blue. There was no sound, and it was unnerving. Then it just vanished, and we just stood there. The sighting occurred just 1 year after another UFO encounter in the same town, that of policeman Alan Godfrey, who at around 5 a.m. on November 28th of 1980 had been nearing the end of his shift when he witnessed a large diamond-shaped object hovering above the road just ahead of him. Estimating the unidentified craft to be approximately 20 feet high and 14 feet across, he attempted to radio for assistance, but found to his horror that his equipment was no longer functioning. Before he knew it, the object had disappeared, and he found himself about 30 yards down the road, having experienced a period of around 25 minutes of missing time that he could not account for. He was a very down-to-earth kind of guy, said Vicky, whose grandfather had spoken of Godfrey. He said, "We've seen it, we know we've seen it, and nobody else needs to know about it." Immediately, I just thought that's got to be the same thing that we saw. It was just too much of a coincidence. So there you go.
When I was 7 years old, or not 7, well, maybe closer to 10, every summer my family would rent a cottage in Atlantic City. And we went to my Uncle Jimmy's place in Margate, which is 2 towns over from Atlantic City. And everybody's in the house having a good time. I'm out in the front porch watching the ocean. And there was this red, glowing light hovering over the ocean, making its way from left to right. And I run in the house, and I'm like, "Hey, I think I see a UFO." And everybody's like, "Yeah, whatever." They think I'm just being a kid, being a smart ass, try and prank them, make them run out of the house. So, long story short, my sister comes out, and my cousin Tommy come out, and they go, "Oh my God." And they follow it down the length of the boardwalk, and it just went off. Like, it, disappeared.
Yeah.
So they corroborated what I saw. So my uncle's driving us back from Margate to our cottage in Atlantic City, and there was this local radio host named Pinky Kravitz. He was like, if you think of like Rat Pack Vegas type guy,
Yep.
He probably hung out with Sinatra, that one of those kind of guys. But he had a talk show. And during the course of the show, people were calling in, talking about this thing they saw in the sky. And everybody in the car turned around and looked at me, and I just went, "See? Told you." And then eventually, there's like a UFO show in A&E years back. And they interviewed 2 cops who responded to that call. That incident came up on an A&E show, about UFOs, and they interviewed the cops who saw and all that stuff. So
wow.
That was my UFO experience. I'm all, besides paranormal, I'm also way into UFOs and life elsewhere. So yeah, I had one experience as a child, and unfortunately I haven't seen anything else, but my grandma swears she's seen them, and and stuff like that. So yeah.
So your grandma's seen them, and you've seen one. Is there a family history of seeing them? Do you have other people in the family who've seen them?
No, as far as I know, my grandma. I woke up one morning. My grandma told me she watched something in the sky, just doing patterns. And as you would, you hear from most experiences, and my grandma's not really too much of a bullshitter. She's matter of factly, and she said she saw a UFO, and I believe her. So it's just and again, this was in Atlantic City, and in the direction she said she would have seen it would have been over the ocean.
Wow.
So I don't know what the correlation is with water and UFOs, but that seems to be the hot spot. Yeah, and you watch, you hear people talking about it now, and there's a relationship between UFOs and the ocean.
Yeah, well, there's also talk too of UFOs and USOs, which are unidentified submersible objects, and
Yes.
and the fact that you see a lot of these things going into the water and coming out of the water, almost like they have some sort of underwater base, if you will, where they go underneath the water almost to get away from people.
Yeah. I mean, and there's been the night vision footage, off of military ships where you see it splash down, and you hear the guys go splash down, as the whatever they're observing goes underneath the water. So she saw this, and this was like 83, 84.
Wow.
And my experience was maybe 82, 83.
Okay.
So right off the coast of Atlantic City.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, know this much, Meanie. If you ever do run into one again, be sure to glom onto it, or at least follow them, because they're going to get really good rates on hotels.
Okay.
I know it's such a random statement, isn't it?
Yes.
It is. Let me clarify for you. If you're an extraterrestrial or a UFO or a USO, turns out if you just travel over to Japan, they're offering cheaper rates and other extras for extraterrestrials. I feel embarrassed even reading that.
Do you have to present proper ID to prove?
I think the ship is proper ID enough.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. While members of the Raelian UFO religion keep pushing the United Nations and other world leaders to build an embassy and spaceport to welcome extraterrestrials for their inevitable visits, prefecture in Japan is boasting of hotels offering discounts to any guests who identify themselves as extraterrestrials, and an airport that is now Asia's first horizontal spaceport. I bet they didn't have those either.
No.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It'll be launching satellites horizontally beginning in 2022.
Horizontal spaceport.
Yeah, the horizontal spaceport.
Yeah. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah, it's a
the old horizontal spaceport.
Yeah, the old horizontal spaceport. You can find it in the Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
Asia's first horizontal spaceport will be launching satellites horizontally beginning in 2022. If you or ETs don't believe it, they've set up an Instagram account full of photos of aliens already taking advantages of the many amenities the hotels, the cities, and the surrounding areas offer. I don't know that I believe the story.
I don't know. Is there a link to the Instagram account?
I'm looking here, my friend. It says, "Welcome aliens. Before you scoff, there is more than a grain of truth in this massive promotion by the Oita, is it Oita? OITA prefecture on the island of Kyushu at the southern tip of Japan. On December 16th, 45 hotels in the prefecture are participating in the partially tongue-in-cheek Do Aliens Have Tongues campaign to promote tourism. The video ads are definitely entertaining. In one, a gray alien in dire need of a restroom checks in to make sure the picture on the door is a male alien before rushing in.
It's been a long trip.
It has been a long trip. Oh, there is a link to the Instagram account. Hold on here. Okay. It is alien_u_oida, OITA.
Okay. I was looking up horizontal spaceport.
So in the picture, the profile picture is a little gray alien.
Why not?
Did you find it? Are you looking?
Hit me with that again.
alien_u_oita, oida. U is in the letter U.
Yes. Underscore.
Oida, OITA.
OITA.
Yep.
There we go.
You found it.
Yes.
Are you looking at some of the pictures here?
Santa Claus. There's a
Santa Claus. Yep. He's looks like he's and there's a gray alien looking like he's looking for him to jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, off the roof. it's just pictures of this gray alien, this guy in this gray alien costume. And he's like on a bridge and he's overlooking a village and he's taking a picture and then he's downtown somewhere. He's getting what looks like a complimentary meal.
There's him holding his nose.
Where?
Here, if you look up at the screen here.
Oh yeah. That's on that little bridge. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's pondering.
Yeah. He's hanging out at a waterfall. He's having a nice time, soaking in the sun.
Selfies. You know.
He's drawing. Looks like he's drawing up a game plan in the dirt. Whatever he's doing there. He's got things going on. He's got big plans there, Meanie. Big
planning
plans.
trips.
Yeah, planning trips. Because evidently it's good times, things going on there. So yeah, you have the Instagram now, folks. You can judge for yourself how real the actual story is. I think we've got enough of that. So the Oita Airport is actually where is the Asia's first horizontal spaceport, and it is launching rockets It's got a rocket launch going off in 2022. You heard that right. They're launching rockets equipped with artificial satellites horizontally in the air instead of vertically. In 2022, they're launching 20 times. It says we're aiming to launch the first artificial satellite from Oita Airport and to launch 20 times in 10 years. That's what they're looking to do. They're looking to set up tourism with that.
Well, good luck.
Yeah. God bless them. God bless the people in Oita. That's for sure. We move on. Kind of a scary story. A Russian spacecraft is stranded in low Earth orbit. It's probably going to come crashing back down to Earth relatively soon here. It's a bit embarrassing, actually. A Russian rocket is now stranded in orbit after it suffered an engine failure, and it might come crashing back down to Earth. Roscosmos is the Russian state space agency, launched its Angara A5 rocket as part of a demonstration last week. The spacecraft was headed towards graveyard orbit, a region of space around Earth where satellites are typically directed to at the end of their operational life. Before the rocket could reach its final destination, though, its upper stage engine failed 2 seconds into its second burn. This left the rocket and its dummy payload stranded in very low Earth orbit. The rocket is actually so low that it's now expected to go through an uncontrolled re-entry. Jonathan McDowell, astrophysicist at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, tweeted that the mass of the rocket and payload weighs around 4 tons in all, so some bits may reach Earth's surface on the re-entry. This bears a stark similarity to China's Long March 5B rocket, a.k.a. the Death Rocket. That would be a hell of a metal band name.
Death Rocket.
Death Rocket. That came tumbling back down to Earth in an uncontrolled descent this spring. However, it should be noted that the Long March weighed 22.5 metric tons, much bigger than Russia's Death Rocket, while Angara is likely to burn up into smaller, mostly harmless pieces. It's still pretty embarrassing for Russia's space effort, especially considering that the controversy that it has attracted in the past year. So there you go.
Me, you, and Jerry Lynn are going to go see Death Rocket.
Oh, I love it. That would be awesome. That's an awesome band name, I'm just telling you. Deadly glaciers. Do you believe in a doomsday glacier, Meanie? Because don't you think you'd be able to get out of the way of that thing?
Oh, my God. I want to say yes, but, I mean, wouldn't they, you would think to get out of the way. It's kind of like the whole thing with the Titanic. It's just there. Just go right.
Just go right.
Yeah, it's like that scene in Austin Powers when the guy with the steamrollers come out, the guy's just screaming, "No!" And it's like a 30-second scene where the steamroller's like 2 miles from him, and he's just like, "No!" And then it slowly runs him over.
Well, you would think,
Death Glacier opened up for, was it Death Rocket?
Yeah, for Death Rocket, yeah.
Doomsday Glacier and Death Rocket.
You would think, with a glacier, you've got a good year or two to get out of the way, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
hit a lighter.
You could take your time, make a good breakfast, eat it.
Yeah.
Make travel plans.
Yeah.
Go to a different...
to the other side of the earth where it's not going. Yeah. Go
to Brazil. I mean, there's
warmer weather country.
Yeah, plenty of things to do to get out of the way of that bad boy. It turns out here the fuse has been blown is the headline, and the doomsday glacier is coming for us all. That in itself just makes you shiver in your boots. But it says one thing that's hard to grasp about the climate crisis is the big changes can happen fast. In 2019, the author of this somewhat sketchy story says he was aboard the Nathaniel B. Palmer, which is a 308-foot scientific research vessel cruising in front of the Thwaites Glacier in Antarctica? Never heard of it. One day, could be. One day we were sailing in clear seas in front of the glacier. The next day we were surrounded by icebergs the size of aircraft carriers. Well, that was his first problem.
Yes.
Yeah. As we later learned from satellite images, in a matter of 48 hours or so, a melange of ice. Isn't Melange Beyonce's other sister?
Yes. She punched Jay-Z in the elevator.
Yeah, that was her. About 21 miles wide and 15 miles deep, had cracked up and scattered into the sea. It was a spooky moment. The Thwaites Glacier is the size of Florida, but with half the meth. Go figure. It is the cork in the bottle of the entire West Antarctic...
Meth glacier.
Horizontal
spaceport.
I was going to say Meth Glacier is the opening act to Death Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not as good. They're still a little rough.
I had the demo. The demo was, good. But,
Although they did do a project with Yo-Yo Ma that's to die for. If you ever get to hear that special project they did with Yo-Yo Ma, Meth Glacier.
Ask Samuel if you ever listened to Yo-Yo Ma.
Oh. Hey, Samuel, what's your opinion of Yo-Yo Ma?
Here's something I found on the web. According to TalkClassical.com, I've always liked Maurice Gendron, Fournier, and Yo-Yo Ma inspired by Bach recordings.
Damn, he went deep with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like Maurice Fournier.
I was hoping for a Yo-Yo Mama joke, but,
Oh. Hey, Samuel, tell me a mama joke.
I don't have a joke about that.
What? How does Samuel...
Take that back to the store and tell...
Samuel, tell me a your mama's so fat joke. Oh, my God. This is so disappointing.
That's it.
Oh. Hey, Samuel, tell me a yo mama joke.
I don't have a joke about that.
Oh,
how does Samuel not have a joke for that? Hey, Samuel, tell me a dirty joke.
How do I prepare for an explicit monologue? I get all my fucks in a row.
He can say that, but he can't tell me a yo mama joke?
Yeah, they need to reprogram that.
Damn it. So the Thwaites Glacier is the size of Florida, much like Yo Mama. There you go. I can do it, but Samuel can't do it.
And I think that's a point of pride you should take.
It is the cork in the bottle of the entire West Antarctic ice shield, which contains enough ice to raise sea levels by 10 feet. The melange, who again was the less talented of the sisters, that disintegrated was not part of the glacier itself, but a mix of icebergs and sea ice that had cozied up next to it. Still, the idea that it could just fall apart overnight was mind-blowing. As it turns out, the ice breakup that this reporter witnessed was not a freak event. A few weeks ago, scientists participating in the International Thwaites Glacier Collaboration, which was a super group, by the way, between Death Rocket, Meth
Horizontal Spaceport.
Yes, Horizontal Spaceport, Meth Glacier, and I don't know. But International Thwaites Glacier Collaboration, a $25 million 5-year-long joint research program where all they did was sit around and look at joints. Between the National Science Foundation in the U.S. and the Natural Environmental Research Council in the U.K. presented their latest research. They described the discovery of cracks and fissures in the Thwaites eastern ice shelf, predicting that the ice shelf could fracture like a shattered car window in as little as 5 years. It won't scatter out into the sea as quickly as what you saw when you were down there. Aaron Pettit, a glaciologist, imagine having that title. And what do you do for a living, sir? I'm a glaciologist.
Put down your W-2.
Yeah, exactly. Glaciologist at Oregon State University and one of the lead principal investigators in the ITGC. Yeah, you know me. Later told me, but the basic process is the same. The ice shelf is breaking up and could be gone in less than a decade, given the ongoing war for the. I think this is more of it's just more opinion there. But predicting the breakup of ice sheets and the implication of the future sea level rise is fraught with uncertainty depending on various emission scenarios. In the latest Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, we could have as little as 1 foot of sea level rise by the end of the century and nearly 6 feet of sea level rise. Of course, rising seas won't stop in 2100, but that date has become a common benchmark. The difference between those models is a lot of lives and money, said Richard Alley, a glaciologist at Penn State University and one of the great scientists of our time. There you go. So, Dangerous Glaciers, which I believe was an 80s band. They were a synth band, Dangerous Glaciers, meaning.
Yes.
So there you go. I don't know if you've heard of this movie, Avenge Pluto.
Let me guess. This a Disney movie?
Yes, it was.
I was just messing around there.
It's a hunter mistaking Bambi for Pluto, shoots Pluto, and it's up to Mickey and the gang to avenge Pluto.
Gosh.
What happened to Pluto?
Hospital.
We gotta go help Pluto. No, Avenge Pluto is not some sort of new action movie from the Mickey Mouse Club. It's no, we're talking about scientists declaring that there are 150 planets in our solar system, including now evidently Pluto.
Oh, that's right. Pluto got demoted.
Yeah, they said Pluto not a planet, now a planet. Was a planet, wasn't a planet, was a planet. Yeah. So don't get all excited. Put them back into planetary status. The old tagline, in space, no one can hear you scream. Unfortunately, being stuck on this rapidly warm rock of ours, we can hear everyone screaming just fine, but especially those yowling about the particularities of space itself, ironically. Last we checked in, our demoted pal Pluto, it was most still certainly not a planet, despite a decade and a half worth of grousing from overly invested astronomy fans. And even though the man responsible for snatching away its designation in the first place tried to make it up to everyone recently, the fact remains that it still is highly unlikely the International Astronomical Union. There is an International Astronomical Union?
I wonder what the dues are for that.
I don't know. Probably.
Or did you have to know somebody to get in?
It's probably $1.95 and a case of Blatz, I'm thinking. We'll backtrack on its 2006 decision. That's right. Instant replay was brought in, and they decided Pluto's a planet. Perhaps it's the knowledge of this near hopeless case that recently prompted a group of scientists to apparently throw up their hands and give their go for broke demand of screw it. We don't just want Pluto back. We want another 150 goddamn planets added to the list. That's what it says in this story. That's the gist of the new article published in the research journal Icarus on my doorstep at 5 o'clock every Monday morning, arguing that IAU are the real jabronis here, goddammit. That's what it says in the article. I kid you not, Meanie. As NBC News breaks it down, the team of scientists allege that the current planetary classification system is based more on outdated astrological, read pseudoscientific terminologies and should be updated to reflect the modern age. A planet, by definition, is any geologically active body in space, which not only would rope Pluto back into the fold, but also moons like Europa, Enceladus? Yeah, and Titan. I don't know that one. As well as the asteroid Sirius. All in all, about 150 new planets to add to the existing 8. Unfortunately, as planetary geologist Paul Byrne explained, all this back and forth about taxon. I can't. It's early. That word often overshadows much of the other genuinely fascinating aspects about these celestial bodies of all sizes. Every time I gave a talk and put up a picture of Pluto, the first question was not about the planet's geology, but why it was demoted, he told NBC News. That's what stuck with people, and that's a real shame. Don't get us wrong, we're sure these classifications matter for all kinds of research purposes, but it was hard enough to remember my very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas as a child. Did you have to remember that?
No.
No? Okay. God help the generation that needs to figure out another 150 mnemonic device. 150 letter mnemonic device for 150 planets. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah,
I don't.
9 pizzas though.
I never knew my very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas. My very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas. Which planets would those be? That would be Mars, Venus, Earth. I don't know.
Dude, that's like asking me to do the alphabet backwards.
I can't do that. Can you do that?
No.
I get to Z, Y, X, V.
That's entrapment.
W. I don't know. I can't do it. I don't have that talent. Meaning you've been in many a locker room in your day. Both.
What are you implying?
Well, no, not like that. Actually, it's going to get a little gross. So if you have to fast forward through this next section, we're getting to the last couple of stories here in Supernatural News. You've been in many a locker room in your day. You've been in some of the bigger ones, such as WWE. They have nice showers.
Yes.
Where you can clean up after a hot, sweaty match. You've probably also been in some VFWs early in your career where you literally just wait to get home to shower.
Yeah, you just take a little sink bath and just hope for the best.
where probably some guys don't wash their gear and it probably smells horrible.
Yes, Vader never washes gear.
Oh, really? Vader never washed his gear?
Yeah, that's the rumor, that he would come home from a tour, leave this bag by the door, and just pick it up on the way back out.
Oh, that had to smell horrible.
Oh my God. That's like a cardinal sin. You always gotta wash the gear.
Yeah, you gotta wash the gear. We have here, and I don't know that we'll go through all of them, but we'll hit the highlights here, if they're or lowlights. 11 unbelievable hygiene practices from ancient Egypt.
Oh my God.
If you'd like. And you can compare and contrast as to whether it compares to a pro wrestling locker room or not. We go with the eye makeup because obviously you've dealt with some eye makeup in your time, my friend.
I wear eye makeup.
Yeah.
In my wrestling career.
Yes, you have. As far as eye makeup, in Cleopatra, Liz Taylor wore dramatic eyeliner with colorful eyeshadow that made her blue eyes really pop. A similar sort of eyeliner can be seen in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Both men and women in ancient Egypt frequently wore eye makeup as though they thought it helped repel flies, protect the eyes from the sun's rays, and ward off infections. So there you go. One thing you share with the ancient Egyptians.
Yes.
Shaved heads. I have one of those. Truthfully, if we were constantly out in the desert sun, we would probably want to chop off all our hair too. Both men and women in ancient Egypt shaved their heads As lice proved to be a major issue in ancient Egypt, the easiest and quickest solution to the lice problem was to shave their hair off completely. The elite could afford wigs and often wore them to show their status. Number 3 was sunscreen, which is always important when you're out in the desert. The ancient Egyptians practiced sun safety before it was popular. Ancient Egyptians used rice bran, jasmine, and lupin to protect their skin from the sun's rays. They did not necessarily understand the negative impacts of UV rays, but did see that the sun could darken one's skin. In ancient Egypt, lighter skin was more desirable to some, and thus the use of sunscreen was motivated by purely cosmetic reasons. Number 4, the important one in a locker room, meanie, would be deodorant.
Oof.
Ancient Egyptians created many perfume scents and were also the first civilization to use deodorant to mask their body odor. Some mixtures were created by using various spices, including citrus and cinnamon, but other recipes also called for more interesting ingredients. The Egyptians had a deodorant body rub made of ostrich egg and tortoise shell roasted with tamarisk. Surprisingly, this mixture was odorless and helped the ancients combat BO.
I was almost going to say, I'd rather just have the BO. I don't know what the ostrich egg would smell like, you know? And how do you come to that conclusion of, oh, that ostrich egg over there? I bet that would cover my armpit smell.
I don't know. Yeah, let's cook it up and throw it on our underarm and see what happens.
What's the old joke? So-and-so used secret and told on them.
Fresh.
He uses right guard. How about some left guard?
That's right. Whatever happened to the left guard in that situation? Yeah. Evidently, he let the defender in on the quarterback. But oh, I do have one of those, by the way. It's right. If you need a hi hat or a rim shot, it's right here. Yeah, there you go. Fresh breath. The ancient Egyptians had many different ways to rid themselves of bad breath. In fact, they invented the breath mint because smelling nice was so important to them, meaning.
I would hope.
Yeah, well. These breath mints were made by mixing frankincense, cinnamon, melon, pine seeds, and cashews together and grinding them into a powder. Honey was then added to the powder and worked as a binding ingredient. After the honey was mixed with the powder, it was heated over a fire and then left to cool. So there you go. The first breath mints were made in Egypt. Only the wealthy had toilets, meanie, in ancient Egypt.
If you were not so wealthy, you were shit out of luck.
Or you were shitting in the sand. One of the
Yeah. Hey, why don't you go shit in the sand, pal?
You had a whole desert for kitty litter.
Yeah.
Although the ancient Egyptians were an advanced ancient civilization, they didn't have any sort of sewage system for their waste. Only the wealthy ancient Egyptians had a toilet. This toilet was a seat made of limestone that, oh, God, imagine sitting on that.
Oh, piss boy.
Piss boy. That sat over top a box filled with sand. Oh, I wasn't far off, was I?
No.
Many people use the Nile as their bathroom. Hello. Evidently, you didn't do it downstream.
Ew.
Even though the river's water was also used for bathing, washing clothes, and even drinking. You got the whole stew there. You really did. Yeah.
And there's Stu taking a leak in the Nile.
Yeah. Imagine trying to wash up or do your clothes, and here comes a big old log.
Hey, Stu, I'm doing laundry over here.
Yeah. You want to aim that a little further down the Nile?
An Egyptian named Stu.
Doing the laundry never really cleaned clothes, according to this article. In the later periods of ancient Egyptian history, people began wearing clothes made of linen. Linen was light and flexible, so it was good for the hot Egyptian climate. However, linen was white, meaning the clothes showed dirt very easily. Ancient Egyptians.
Skid marks.
Skid marks, yes. There are a lot of skid marks in ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptians started doing laundry more often to get rid of the dirt on their clothes, but they washed their clothes in the Nile, where people also relieved themselves and dumped garbage. Oh, dear God.
You see Vader on a rock in the Nile, cleaning his gear.
I'm washing my gear.
It's time.
This meant that the Egyptians washed their clothes in water filled with parasites and bacteria, so their clothes were never fully cleaned. Personal manicurists. Yes, they had those too. The richest Egyptians could employ others to ensure their fingernails looked healthy and clean. It was the only thing on them that was. Royalty and the upper class could hire manicurists who used different tools, including files and small knives, to trim and clean their toenails and fingernails. An early form of nail polish was also used using henna to paint their nails orange and yellow. They had surprisingly accurate pregnancy tests back then.
I don't even know. Do I want to know?
Well, let's get into it. It was just as important 3,500 years ago for a woman to know whether or not she was pregnant as it is today. In fact, the ancient Egyptians developed a surprisingly accurate pregnancy test. Egyptian women who suspected they might be pregnant would urinate on barley or wheat seeds. Okay. If the seeds sprouted quickly, that meant the woman was pregnant. Interestingly enough, this pregnant test correctly identified 70 to 85% of pregnancies.
I'm speechless because I mean, there's starving people, and you could probably be using these seeds for better purposes.
We could plant these, or we could see if you're with child. Let's go.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, exactly. There were lots of laxatives, so you could firmly shit in the river.
Next to Vader,
who's cleaning his gear over here. Lots of laxatives in ancient Egypt. Doctors in ancient Egypt believed that the human body should be regularly flushed out to prevent disease and clean out the intestines. Many Egyptians took this advice and used castor oil to force waste out of their bodies. Figs, bran, and dates were also used as laxatives in ancient Egypt. Nobody was irregular in ancient Egypt. And makeup, by the way, if you were going to put on the meanie gimmick,
yes,
was made from bugs. So there you go.
Jesus Louise.
Yeah, go out there and crush up a few bugs, and you have plenty of roaches there. And
you got me thinking, how they would, you use honey and all that, all these things, that we just find commonplace. I'll just go to a store and find honey.
Yeah,
buy honey. Who was the first person to discover? Oh, this bee shit over here. That's delicious.
That's delicious.
Yeah.
Here's how they made the makeup, Meanie. It was made with some questionable ingredients in ancient Egypt. Some guy or gal said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to crush up different insects to create cosmetic pigments. In fact, historians believe that Cleopatra needed 70,000 beetles to create 1 pound of carmine dye that she used to paint her lips. Yeah. These beetles created a bright red shade of lipstick, making Cleopatra stand out from other Egyptians.
Yeah. I'll take her word for it.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. That's that for that story. So in order to make up the Blue Meanie, you'd probably have to have a whole slew of Egyptians crushing bugs to get you just to one gimmick.
For my eyes. I don't even know what I would do for my hair.
Yeah.
To make my hair blue.
Yeah. Well, you got the hair and you got the beard.
Yeah, hair, beard, and my raccoon eyes.
Yep.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of beetles, a lot of bugs.
Yes, indeed. Down to the last 2 stories for supernatural news for this week. Do you have Discovery Plus there at the crib?
Yes, I do.
Have you? You can say yay or nay. I have not caught it yet, but I plan on catching it tonight. New Ghost event, don't want to slip up on this one. New Ghost Hunters is out.
No, I wasn't aware, but now that I am, I will be watching that.
There was a New Year's surprise for everybody on Discovery Plus. Ghost Hunters has their first episode out. It's officially called Ghost Hunters Taps Returns. And there's a little surprise for everybody. They teamed up with the Destination Fear team of Alex Schrader, Dakota Layden, and Tanner Wiseman. And they went to the old Joliet prison. Really good episode. I have not had a chance to see all of it yet. I've seen part of it. So,
that's excellent.
yeah.
Big fan of the Ghost Hunters crew.
Yeah, and they're having a lot of fun out there. And one of the things you'll notice, and one of the things I noticed just from the little bit I've seen, they've lowered the music, which is really important. They've lowered the music on the investigation, the background music, which drives a lot of people nuts. I know on a lot of investigation shows when that kind of the music comes up at tense times.
Yes.
And people are like, turn it down. I can't hear anything. I can't hear what's going on in the background. The music is nice and low. You can hear lots of things. And they're having a lot of fun at Old Joliet Prison. So I'm going to finish that episode tonight. And I may have a little surprise for our audience in the next week or two when it comes to taps. So keep your ears and eyes peeled for something having to do with Darkness Radio and taps here. And our last story for this week, Meanie.
Yes, sir.
I got to know, first of all, before we get to this story, have you made any New Year's resolutions? Do you do that?
My New Year's resolution was to not make a New Year's resolution.
Amen, brother. Do you have any predictions for this year? Anything that you think is going to happen this year?
Oh, my God. Absolutely not, because, I mean, the whole pandemic just threw everything off kilter.
Yeah.
You know, just, hey, I might go traveling this year. No, you won't. Know, or this, that, and the other, especially sports, everybody coming, everybody, with the Omicron, just getting affected, that much more easier, so.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
I will say by the end of 2022, this is a bold one. Ready, Meanie? And I'm probably going to be wrong. But I'll throw this out there. That scientists will figure out the main genome behind the coronavirus and be able to come up with a proper vaccine that will stop it in its tracks, including all variants.
That's your prediction.
That's my prediction.
I hope it's true. I hope it's true, man.
I think.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I'm not downing the current vaccine. Right. It's good. It does what it does. I'm saying that they'll have a simple solution vaccine for all variants, something that will stop every variant in its tracks by the end of 2022.
I would hope so.
They'll find that, much like a flu vaccine.
Yeah, it's just kind of like when people say when you buy a computer, it's already outdated. When they trying to come up with a vaccine for this thing, by the time they get it in their hands, the thing's probably mutated. It's this is for the thing, a couple months ago. Now we're on to this new thing. So, and it's like that weed that always grows outside of my house. I live in South Philly, but every summer there's a little sprout of green that comes out. I go, man, I should really, pull that out and kill it before. And then, in 2 months, the thing's growing up the side of my house.
Yeah.
And it's a much bigger thing that I have to deal with, where if I would have just nipped it in the bud right off the bat. Yep. So that's how I see with this whole the vaccine thing, and everybody's got their opinions, but I think it's just we're in a constant state of catch up.
Yeah.
Just by the time you figure out the new thing, it's on to the next thing, which is scary.
Yeah, it is. The thing is constantly mutating. So but I think they'll get down to the DNA of the genome itself, and they'll figure out how to deconstruct it, and they'll come up with an actual vaccine that will put it to bed.
Yeah, hopefully. And that's the thing. Growing up, all my aunts and uncles had this scar on their arm. I'm like, what's that scar from? They're like, oh, that's my polio shot.
Yeah.
And then I would have to say, hey, do I have to get one? They're like, no, we got vaccinated and eradicated.
Yep.
We're in a stage of history where this thing that this virus is doing damage, and the people working on who work on that, and people, there's a section of people who think vaccines are like, people who work on vaccines are like firefighters, like they're not working on this already, like they wait for an alarm off, okay, time to make the vaccine. No, they're constantly working on this.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like you said, hopefully they figure that out, just so we can eradicate this thing and put it to bed.
Yeah, and the COVID virus is just an offshoot of a SARS virus. So they've had this blueprint for quite a while. It's an offshoot of the SARS virus. So it's something that they have the blueprint. They've had the blueprint for quite a while. You just follow the map.
Right.
And Omicron is just a step to the left from Delta, and Delta is just a step from the left to the left from the last variant. So it's a matter of following the map back to the original blueprint and trying to deconstruct it. It's not as I make it sound simple. It's not. It's
no.
Genetics of viruses are very difficult. If there were easy solutions, we would have easy solutions to every bit of virology out there. We don't. There's a reason a virus sticks around for a very long time and a cold goes away very quickly. So,
Yeah, I'm with you on that prediction. I hope they do it.
Yeah. Baba Vanga, a mystic in Bulgaria, has now come out and given us our predictions for this year. Are you ready?
I'm strapped in.
You're strapped in. The blind mystic made several notable predictions for the next 12 months. None of them are good, by the way, Meanie. Vanga, who was born in Bulgaria in 1911 and died in 1996. I know you're saying, well, how are we getting these prophetic predictions when Baba Vanga's dead? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Spent most of her life in the Kazu Mountains and was renowned the world over for her prophetic predictions about the future. While a great deal of skepticism has always surrounded the accuracy of these predictions, many people remain adamant that she had successfully foretold a wide range of major global events. For the upcoming 12 months, she made 6 notable predictions. Here they are. I don't think they're huge, but here we go.
Okay.
Number 1, there will be water shortages. And they have been around the world. A shortage of water in many countries will generate political problems as governments struggle to secure access to additional supplies. The second one, which I've been telling you all along, virtual reality takeover.
Yeah.
This prediction, which suggests that people will become hopelessly glued to their computer screens, seems to have been interpreted as more to do with general computer internet use than genuine virtual reality, which is something that Baba Vanga would not have known about. But it could also be argued that this has already come to pass, at least to some extent. Number 3, a locust swarm in India. Vanga reportedly predicted that India would be subjected to soaring temperatures and a devastating swarm of locusts at some point over the next 12 months. Number 4, if you're ready for this one, and I think the Japanese are, hotel rates, my friend, hotel rates.
Yes.
Aliens will arrive on Earth. This one seems to be far more out there than all of her predictions, and it's something that we've heard before numerous times. It seems that it is highly unlikely to come to pass in 2022, according to this article. But our friends in Japan know better.
Yes.
Yeah. Number 5, another virus. Baba Vanga believes that most would interpret this to be a prediction of another COVID-19 variant. However, Vanga reportedly mentioned a virus being released from the Siberian permafrost due to global warming. And 6 more catastrophes, a general prediction about flooding, earthquakes, and tsunamis. So there you go. Baba Vanga, ever the optimist.
Can you predict a nice sunny day?
Yeah, exactly. Ever the sunny optimist. Can't pick the Powerball numbers or who's going to win the Super Bowl, but by gosh, I can tell you that doom and gloom is around the corner.
What a wet blanket Baba Vanga is.
I know, right? So that pretty much wraps up supernatural news for this week. I want to thank Blue Meanie for joining us this week.
Oh, thanks for having me. Hopefully, I was it was a pleasure to be your Robin.
Oh, well, thank you.
To be your Robin Quivers for the show.
Well, I appreciate it as well. That would mean I'm Howard Stern, and I don't quite feel like that. But tell everybody again how they can listen to Mind of the Meanie.
If you would like to listen to Mind of the Meanie drops every Monday morning at 6 a.m., wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or you could also go to youtube.com/Mind of the Meanie. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie. If you'd like to support Mind of Me, go to mindofme.com. Go to mindofmeanie.com as well. But you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie.
And as this drops on Wednesday, there's still 1 day left over at Pro Wrestling Tees to support you. There's a 20% off sale until the 6th.
Yeah,
today's the 5th.
If you use promo code New Year at checkout, save 20% on all your favorite Blue Meanie merchandise.
And there's
tees.com/Blue Meanie.
That's right. And there's a really cool Meanie shirt right now where you're posed like the Hulk. I love that shirt.
Great artwork by the great artist Bill Wood, who was kind enough to do that for me.
Yeah, and it's what does it say? It's not easy being blue. Is that what it says?
You wouldn't like me when I'm blue.
You wouldn't like me when I'm blue. That's what it is.
Yes.
And it's got a picture of Meanie looking like the Hulk, which is absolutely awesome. It looks like the old Marvel comic shirts.
Yes.
But check it out for yourself. Go to prowrestlingtees.com. Check out Blue Meanie store. Get 20% off with that code New Year, and support Blue Meanie. And check them out. You got any dates on the calendar for wrestling so far? 2022?
Not dates, but if you would like to follow me on social media, so when I announce dates, I'm Blue Meanie BWO on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
There you go. So check out Meanie online as well. Folks, that's going to do it for today. Tune in tomorrow. I might have a little bit of a surprise for you for the show for tomorrow. I'm going to keep it under my hat for right now. But it could be big. Could be real big. That's how I'm going to tease you. That's how I tease all of them. Something like that, Meanie. For Blue Meanie, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you very much for tuning in to Supernatural News on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.